Hello everyone, my name is Angel, and I'm the host of Have Faith, Let It Begin. Get ready, as we are doing our post notifications, letting everybody know that we're on the air. This is a live episode. We are live. Today is June 4th, Thursday, 2020. It's now 7:36 and counting. We're about to get started on another crazy Thursday. That's right, it is Thursday, which means only one thing. It is our crazy date stories. Are you ready for this one? Because this one is going to be a doozy. Trust and believe, it's one you don't want to miss. Have faith, let it begin. Crazy date story number 4 begins right now.
Broadcasting live worldwide.
On June 16th, 2018, a show designed for you, the Daily Commuter, went live. A weekly show all about faith. A show with motivational topics, inspirational stories, and personal testimony set out to change the world.
Don't you see that your faith is coming alive? Don't you see that it's tested every time? He's the one that makes your life divine. He's the one that makes you feel fine. Your faith being tested.
Hi, I am Mia. You're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hello, my name is Amari, and today we are back on another episode of Have Faith and Let's Begin. Hi, my name is Isabella, and you're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hey, this is Freddie, and you're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hi, my name is Angela, and you're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Welcome to Have Faith. Let it begin. Here's your host, Angel Santana.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. I can't help but laugh already because I already know the story that I have to share with each and every one of you. But I'd like to start off by wishing everyone a blessed morning as the sun shines after a crazy thunderstorm evening for us in the Northeast. Welcome to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. Folks, today is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it, as today the sun is shining for each and every one of you. I'd like to give a quick shout out though to a gentleman that I haven't talked to in a very long time, and he sent me a message a while back, and I did not say hi back. Big shout outs to my good friend Paul M. I used to manage him back in the day. Paul, God bless you, my friend. I hope all is well. And let's get started. For those of you that don't know, every Thursday we do a crazy date story. Back in the day when I was living on my own, I had a huge breakup, and after a while, I decided to get back into the dating game. Unfortunately, I had the worst, and I mean the worst, run of dates in about a 4-year period. No lie. And I used to keep a journal, so I remember a lot of these dates. So I'm kind of doing these dates out of order, but you guys wouldn't know that. But the key thing is, they're crazy. All right, as our good friend Mansa would say, let's get it. Here we go. So, for a while, things were still doing pretty crappy. The dates were not going well. As you remember, last week's episode on the crazy date story, we talked about so many different crazy things that happened with the girl that literally yelled at me for just opening the door and opening her, the opening doors for her car doors and opening seats. I decided to do something a little different. This time, I decided that the next time I would go on a date, I would allow the young lady to pick everything. I said, I'm going to just do that. I'm just going to there's no way I can actually go wrong if the person picks everything. So the young lady that I met, and I'm going to change the name as usual, because I have not permission for this particular story. Her name is Alexa, and Alexa decided that we would go out to miniature golf. But before we do miniature golf, she was hungry and she wanted to go to this new place called India. It was a huge place in Providence, and she thought it would be a great place to go. And it was very up and coming. It was pretty hip. The ambiance was awesome. There was even sections where you can be very dressed up, and there were sections where you can be not so dressed up. But she was a dressed up type of girl, and so was I, a dressed up type of guy. So I decided, you know what, let's go all out. So we had some conversations. Again, this is another referral from friends. We decided to meet up and talk. She decided to meet up for coffee on one afternoon to meet up. And then from there, we decided to go to this dinner place called India. So 2 days later, I went to pick her up. She looked very pretty. She said I was very, dressed up very well. Looked very handsome. We got in the car and we drove to the restaurant called India. Now, let me stop real quick. A lot of you that don't know who I am, I'm a very picky eater. I've gotten a little bit better, as my wife would probably disagree, but I've gotten a little bit better as I've gotten older. But in my 20s, I was pretty picky. If I don't know something, if I don't, if things don't look right, doesn't sound right, I wasn't eating it. So I was a little nervous going to this place because I wasn't sure the type of food they would have. I mean, I didn't know. So we get there, and there was we had a reservation, but there was about a 5-minute wait, enough time for me to look at a menu because I did not want to look like this guy that was picky, even though I knew I was. So I'm looking at the menu, and I see that they had this thing called rice Dijon, and if I'm saying it right, and it was rice, and it had these. Looks like there was pictures. It had rice. It had this like we say it in Spanish caldo, which is like the juices of the beans, and it had a little bit of meat on the side. I'm thinking that looks like a Spanish dish. So I'm like, you can't go wrong with rice. All right, so we get there, we sit down, we're ordering a little appetizers. Appetizer was pretty good, and then the meal came. Now, I think some of you by now know where I'm going with this, but I'm not going to give you that just yet. It's Indian food, that's all I got to say. I was never, ever introduced to Indian food, never had Indian food. When my food came, I was starving. And, I started eating. And the rice was delicious. I cannot say it was bad. It was a very good dish. And I start eating, and I tend to eat a little fast. What I was not prepared for was this flaming torch of hostile, crazy hotness of spicy food. Holy cow. This food was spicy. And it was the kind of spiciness that you don't realize until it's too late. It had a little kick to it when I ate it, but the kick became harder and harder to the point where I started to sweat. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, this almost sounds like the movie Along Came Polly, but it's really true. For those of you that's never had Indian food, this food can be spicy. I did not know that on the menu, which I found out later, you can request for it to be non-spicy. But by default, it comes spicy. So I'm sitting there and I'm sweating. But now, at the time, I'm not sweating so much on my face. My back was sweating. The back of my head was sweating. I can feel the sweat dripping down my back. So I excused myself to the restroom, and I think I don't have to get into detail, where that spicy food actually went. So, about 15 minutes later, I come out of the men's room, and the young girl is like, "Where have you been? I thought you left." And she goes, "I actually had to pay for the dinner because you took so long." And I said, "Oh, no, I was going to pay." And I had to tell her. I said, "Listen, that is the most spiciest food I have ever had And she was laughing because she didn't know. She said that because I was Puerto Rican, she assumed that I like spicy food. And I said, well, this Puerto Rican right here does not like spicy food. I says, and neither did my stomach. So, needless to say that it was actually a funny, crazy first part of the date. Well, we decided to go home, change, because we had brought change of clothes to go to miniature golf. As we got to the miniature golf, this was a kind of course that you can walk around. It was very long. About the 5th or 6th hole of the 18 holes, the spicy food decided to reoccur, and the stomach started to bubble. Now, I'm in an area that I have no idea where I'm at. Picture a young, sweaty Spanish guy with a miniature golf club, a blue ball, running through the course looking for a men's bathroom while leaving your date by herself to find a restroom, only to go to the restroom, sit down, and discover that the stall that you picked had no toilet paper. Yes. So I had to pick up my cell phone, call my date, let her know that I was in a stall that had no toilet paper, and if she could get maintenance to send me some toilet paper. That, my friends, was probably one of the most embarrassing parts of the date. So you think. The good news is, this young lady and I are still friends to this day. We still laugh about this story, but nothing can be better than what happened next. The drive home, I'm thinking in my mind, there's no way I'm going to get a first kiss out of this, and there's definitely no way this is going to be a second date. We're laughing about the situation, and I get about 8 minutes away from her home, and the spicy Indian food decides to bubble yet again. Only this time, as many of us understand the word gas, gas can play a factor. And unfortunately, when you have a stomach issue, you can only hold it in so long. So, let's just say that it was one of those nights where you had to have the windows up because it was muggy out, the air conditioning was on. You cannot mix those type of gases with cool air. The car was completely filled with toxic waste. And my date started to dry heave. Yes, this was the worst part of the date, and the most embarrassing climax, icing on the cake, would be that when I showed up at her house, I had to ask her parents to use their restroom yet again. But to be funny and to be fair, right before I went in, my date made sure I had enough toilet paper. What's the point of today's story on this crazy date episode? You have to be honest with each other. You have to tell someone when you know that there's something you cannot eat, when you know that there's something that you just can't do. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Don't try to do something just to impress a girl or a man. The bottom line is be yourself, be true to others, and luckily for me, I ended up gaining a really good friend out of the deal. There was a second date, but it was more of a friendship date, and we've been friends ever since. She lives in Arizona now. She's doing very well. She's got, 3 kids and married, and hopefully I can reach out to her and send her this copy so she can laugh again. But I did change her name just for the sake of, for her, her embarrassment, so to speak. Well, that's my crazy date story for this week. Tune in till next Thursday for crazy date number 5. And guess what? This one is out of control. So much that I almost get beat up in the process. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. May God be with you. May He shine His light upon you and give you nothing but peace. And never forget to have faith. Let it begin. Oh, Indian food is bad.
Faith is coming alive. Don't you see that it's tested every time?
Thank you for listening to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. That's right, Ariel. We're done with another show. And it's always great to have this show with you, my love. You know, we're going to encourage each and every person to listen to our show every single weekday. That's right, you and I are going to help change the world. Do you think that you can do that for me? Huh? Yeah, you know you can. She does. We want to let you know, and yes, we encourage you to listen to our show each and every weekday, and it's going to be live at 7:30. Make sure you're subscribed to our show. Make sure you get ready, fasten those seatbelts, because Ariel and I and my family are going to bring you a new topic, a new story each and every day, right? Isn't that right, Ariel? Yeah. And she's smiling at me. Guys, enjoy your day. Don't forget, everyone, every single Thursday until the stories are done, Crazy Date Stories. Get ready for next one, Crazy Date Story number 5. You don't want to miss it. I almost get beat up. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.
Broadcasting live worldwide.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.